Hi, I'm Rachel with SmartSocial.com.
And hi, I'm Andrea. Rachel and I are both moms that work for SmartSocial. We do lots of research and we create all the content on the website. And we both just really love to dig in and research these apps that all of our kids are trying to use and maybe that we're trying to use as well, trying to keep everybody safe online. So this is Rachel's second Mom Talk. This time I get to be with her, which I'm really excited about. We're so excited to have you, Rachel, join the Smart Social content team. You bring so much work experience and personal experience to this job that we're just super thrilled to have you here working with us. Maybe not everyone knows this, but you have 6 kids. I can only imagine that the amount of technology issues that arise with 6 kids. Anything exciting happening over in your house these days?
So we're usually pretty tame, but I mean, this week, my younger girls do not normally have cell phones, but we went on a vacation in December and we decided to give them phones so we could keep track of them in case we got split up or anything happened. And honestly, to keep them entertained on the plane and all those things. So they've kind of been loosely playing around with them since then. They don't have full ownership of them, so they're not supposed to be changing anything on it. We found out this week, my daughter brought me her phone and she's like, it's locked and I can't get into it. And we tried typing the password in and it locked it out for like 2 days after that or something like that. And it kept getting longer. And I was like, the password's not working. And it took her a little while. Like she didn't come straight out with it, but finally she was like, well, I changed the password. And apparently what had happened is she told her younger sister the password and then decided that she didn't like her sister having the password to her phone, her top secret photos that she's taken of our trip or whatever. She just didn't like, it was like a lock your bedroom door kind of thing. So she didn't want her sister getting into her phone. So she went to change the password and she thought she changed it to my birthday. And she went and told me the date. And I was like, that's not my birthday.
Oh no.
So she's like, well, maybe it was this date. So we tried a couple different dates. And at this point right now, the phone's locked out for 2 weeks. So we're crossing our fingers that we can get into it. Fortunately, Apple has some backups in place. We're hoping this works. We don't know for sure, but we got on their chat with them and told them what had happened. And usually if your phone's locked that much, you're just kind of out of luck. But since we have her under as a parent, like a child account under the parents, they are going to send in 2 weeks when the phone unlocks, send us a code that is going to let us unlock her phone. So we're crossing our fingers that works. We'll see. But it made me realize we didn't have a conversation about like not changing passwords because I didn't think that was going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Doesn't have passwords to anything else, but she had the code to her phone. And it just didn't occur to me that we needed to have that conversation with her. Yeah, passwords are not for you to change. And that's only something that mom and dad get to do. And we have to know your passwords. And if you change them, we can't, open your phones.
I think that you might be able to, in the settings on the iPhone, I think you might be able to restrict them from changing the passcode.
I think you're right. And that's going to be our next step if she gets her phone back ever.
Yeah.
She got upgraded from a Gab phone. She might just be going back to a Gab phone for a while after this. And she knows that.
Oh man. Well, I know she is for sure not the only person to have ever, or only kid to have ever done this, or adult probably, really. So I'm sure there are plenty of other families struggling with this same issue. So it's good to know that Apple is trying to be helpful though.
Yeah. And it was such a fluke thing because like my teenagers know to not change any passwords on theirs because we've had that conversation. But since she didn't have access, I didn't even think about it. It wasn't even her trying to hide anything. It was just her trying to like keep stuff away from her sister because that's how siblings go. But
so many times that's it. That's part of the big problem of trying to stay on top of your kids on this stuff is the things that you don't even realize that you should be having, like the conversations you should be having with kids that you just assume kind of they know, don't change your password and then not remember it. I mean, like if you're going to change,
wrong.
Yeah. So one thing I love about our family media agreement that we kind of redid this last fall is that it's very thorough and in depth, but it kind of takes you through all of these little conversation starters that you might not think about when you're handing your child a phone. Like you won't necessarily think, don't change the password or make sure you remember the password, In the agreement, we've got a spot for the password and it talks about how you should, when you change the password, you make sure your parents also get that password. So just little things like that, I think are helpful with this agreement that people might find. Of course, hindsight is 2020. And if you could, this doesn't still get you back into the phone any faster, but
she will remember it though. She feels super bad about it. So I'm like, at least it's a lesson that she's going to remember. I'm like, worst case, we can't get into the phone. It does give us an option to like delete everything on the phone, and then supposedly we can get into it, but she's going to remember it. She's not going to do it again. So I would rather her make a mistake on something small like this than down the road, maybe she's got social media accounts and changing the passwords or sharing the passwords with friends and stuff, because now she's going to remember this experience.
Definitely. And so will you. And hopefully her sister will learn from it as well.
Hopefully they can bring it up for years to come, I bet.
That's right. It'll be one of those long time things. Remember that time you forgot your password and got locked out?
And hopefully she remembers my birthday from now on too.
I know. That's the real problem, is that she doesn't know your birthday. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, sometimes you make the rules, even like you remember to talk about this stuff and you make the rules, and then you don't keep following up with it. And you notice like a few months down the road that, oh, we haven't talked about that one in a while. And you're actually back to doing that thing, which is kind of what we're doing. Our daughter, she's been, after we told her a while ago, we don't want any technology in bedrooms or bathrooms or anything. The last few months, I think during Christmas break, being home, we just kind of got lax, and she was hanging out in her room with her iPod. And it kind of dawned on me the other day. I was like, oh wait, no, we're not doing this anymore. And so it's kind of like a relearning the rules that we set out a few months ago. So
energy to be consistent. That's the biggest problem, is it's so much, they're so time consuming and takes so much of your energy that it's so easy to be lax on those once you've set them.
It is. And it's easy to think, oh, it's fine. She's such a good kid. Nothing wrong is going wrong, until one day, it might, or, you just want to make sure you're staying on top of it. And those rules were in place for a reason. So anyway, we're back on it, which is good, but just takes some remembering sometimes. Well, I think we'll go ahead and take a little break here and hear from Josh about our newsletter and how to become a VIP member. And when we get back, I'd kind of like to talk about our resources that we've published over the last week or so. We've got some new things out on the website and some exciting things coming up in the future. So let's hear from Josh and take a break, and then we'll be back.
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. Each week, we help parents and educators keep students safe on social media so they can someday shine online. Make sure you join our newsletter to get the most up-to-date social media alerts at smartsocial.com/newsletter. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we send out the latest social media app resources that help parents and educators to navigate this challenging landscape with their students. Now let's get to the program.
So we've had some great resources lately. Andrea, do you want to walk us through the ClassDojo app guide that just went live recently?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if your kids have ever used ClassDojo or not, but mine did a few years ago. It is an educational app and platform that teachers can set up and use with their classrooms and with the parents of their kids in the classroom. It's a great tool for communication. So teachers can send out calendars full of events that are getting ready to come up throughout the school year. They can communicate directly with the parents, letting them know how their kids are doing in class, send private messages if they're looking for volunteers, just kind of any of those basic communications that they need to do with their parents. But they can also motivate the kids, like used with its full potential. Teachers can motivate the kids. The kids can earn points and rewards for good behavior or, doing something kind for someone. So it's an app designed to help kids learn social and emotional skills, as well as a communication app for parents. But then also parents can take it at home and use it at home with their kids and also motivate them at home, different good behaviors that they're seeing or bad behaviors. They can reward or take away points depending on the student behavior. So I think it's definitely a green zone app for us. I think it really has just a lot of pros. It's free for teachers to use. If parents really want to use it to its full potential at home, there is a fee for that. But it's a pretty good app. I think it works really well for teachers and students and parents to really effectively communicate and kind of build a good relationship as well.
Yeah, it sounds like a great option.
Yeah, I think it is. I know that there are so many different communication apps out there for teachers and coaches and teams. And we are starting to look at some of those. And I think we're going to do a resource in the future on the Remind app, because I know my kids also use that now with some of their teachers and some of their coaches. And I know there's so many out there. So if there's different apps out there that you guys are curious about or want more information on, please let us know. Email us, send us a comment. We would love to know what you're using or what you're interested in using so that we can do some research on it and put it on our site and give you guys really what you most need and are looking for. What have you been working on this last week, Rachel?
So if you've missed the live events, we have had 6 live events in January talking all about the positive uses of social media. And I feel like you hear a lot about the negatives of social media, but hearing about the positives is a little bit more rare. And there's a lot out there because kids are already using these apps. They're using them with their friends for fun. And we went into detail about some of the ways they can use this to really help their future career goals and school goals. We had some students in here talking about the benefits and the negative sides that they see from the app. But Josh went through and talked about what some of the biggest companies in the world are looking for and what they want to see on student social media. So it was really eye-opening for everybody that attended. If you missed it, you can hop on here and see the replays. And we're going to be focusing on TikTok next month. That's a big app. Andrea, I don't know if your kids are on TikTok. Mine like to watch it together as a family, but they have no interest in having it on their phones, but which is good for me. But we do like watching TikToks together as a family. We'll find a few TikTok influencers that we think are entertaining and watch them together. But we're going to be covering TikTok next month and going in depth about some of the safety issues, security issues, and some of the positive things that we see on there. So if you want to join us for those, that's February 23rd and February 28th. And there will be 3 times on each of those dates. So you can go ahead and register for those and claim your seat now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Rachel, I have to ask, do you create your own TikToks or do you just view?
We mostly view them. It took me a long time to get on TikTok at all. And so we're in the viewing stage.
Okay. All right. I think it's always fun when I see families. You can always tell it's like the teenage daughter has like talked the whole family into recreating one of like the TikTok dances.
We have friends that will dance together as a family. I think that's fun. I don't dance. So, and my teenagers have zero interest in being on camera. So it just hasn't, but we do like watching some of those. So it's always fun to kind of discover. There's a lot of people and students even on TikTok, some interesting things. And it's always kind of fun to come across those.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get that resource put together and find out more about the app and all the different positive ways, because there are, like you said, so many positive ways that students are using the app. I'm looking forward to reading that and finding out more about it. So
I think being aware of some of the safety issues and the security things helps you to be able to use the app better. We're not going to ignore them, and we definitely want to be aware of them. But once you do those, that's a lot easier for students to get in there and use the app and do something positive with it.
We also have a resource on Tumblr coming up next week, which is going to be out. It's, for those who don't realize, Tumblr is just it's another kind of social media platform, but it's more of a micro blogging. So it's become more popular recently. Twitter's having some trouble keeping their users, and a lot of people are leaving Twitter and headed either back to Tumblr because it's been around for a little while. So they're heading back to Tumblr or creating new accounts over there. So we're putting out a new updated resource in case anybody's kids are looking to jump onto Tumblr these days. All right. Well, Rachel, it has been so fun to sit and chat with you this week. I'm looking forward to getting to do this with you more often. It'll be fun.
And we have a lot of fun things coming up in February. So we're excited to get those out to everybody.
Definitely. And we are always looking for new ideas or suggestions. If you guys have concerns over a certain app, please shoot us a message. We want to know what's going on and how we can better help you with the issues that you guys are having at home with your families, because chances are if you're having that issue, somebody else is having it as well. So let us help you figure out some good answers or some good tips for those. All right. And then I guess we'll see everybody there next week. All right. Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome. We'll talk to everybody later.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast with this week's topics. If you enjoyed the Mom Talk discussion that we had today about all things social media from a mom's perspective, We invite you to join the SmartSocial.com VIP program. As a very informed parent VIP member, you will learn about the dangers and benefits of social media for your kids and get tips every week to keep your family safe online and, most importantly, to teach your students how to shine online. We have over 130 detailed app guides that cover apps like TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and 100 plus apps you might not have heard of, but your students may have visited or downloaded. Find out more and join today at smartsocial.com/VIP. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and review so we can continue to help more parents and educators just like you. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. As always, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.